All right, welcome. So starting out, I already had this for the most part pre-drawn. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk. I already started. Pre-drawn and planned out. I started by creating the calendar for the first page, and I screwed it up. I missed a day, and it just goes to show that even pre-planning out your videos and your spreads, you can still create a mistake. And I didn't notice it until it was already too late. I didn't notice it until I want to say I was filming the flip through, and I was like, oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. So there wasn't really a way for me to fix it at that point. So I just, soldiered on, and I really don't use the main calendar page anyway, truthfully. So going forward, and you'll see once I post my March one, I just didn't put it in there because I don't really use it. So I've got a big calendar up on the wall in my office, which I don't really use either. I just mainly use the weekly spreads, and the only reason why I would use that big calendar like that would be to just see what is a weekend and what isn't. So again, don't use it. So I just didn't put it in there. So I kind of have this, I didn't want to do a Valentine's Day theme because pink and whatnot really isn't my favorite color. I really don't have a whole lot of pink stuff, but I kind of wanted to do something along the lines of it, and I really don't use a ton of red either. I'm a very neutral blues and greens, teals person, so I wanted to step outside the box a little bit, and that is why I decided to use a red and gray and black theme. So I did kind of this somewhat serif font style for the February title, and I did it in one of the Pentel Sparkle Pop pens. If you have not seen these or used these, I will link these down below because they are amazing. So this one's technically black, but it's got red glitter, and this will spread. The glitter will get on stuff. Just be aware. I mean, it's got a lot of glitter in it. It's got a lot of reflect, a lot of shift, and they're almost kind of two-toned in a way. And not all of them, but this black one technically had the red shift to it, and I just thought it was beautiful, so that's what I used. And then down below here is where I was going to put my goals for the month, and I did a black header and tried to kind of do a gradient into the bottom of the page, and it didn't really work that well. I mean, it did a little bit, but it wasn't great. So it definitely was not ideal, that's for sure. And then down here on the bottom, I went ahead and just stuck some craft paper, and sorry, my dogs are barking in the background. Stuck some craft paper and then cut the bottom off, and I went in next and used a fine liner. These are very similar to the Sigma or the Micron pens, and they're a heck of a lot cheaper. So I will also, everything I use will be linked down below. But I did just kind of the basic outline of the heart because I'm going to go in with a crosshatch fine line drawing of this heart, which obviously you would have seen in the intro, but I just went through because I wanted to cut out the Dutch door and get the rest of the spreads done, because this type of drawing and anything using fine lines like that is brutal to my thumb and my hand and my wrist. It is painful. It's very painful for me. I had to take a couple days off of writing after doing these spreads because my thumb was just in so much pain. And ignore all of the scratches on my hand. We have a kitten, and I refuse to declaw my cats because I think that's just barbaric. And she's playful. So that's what all these scratches are. They're from my kitten's nails. So this is what I was going to make as my master task list, but you will see in the end that I decided to cover that up and just put washi tape over it because I wanted to, when I used the Dutch doors for my spreads, which was also a first for me doing in my journal as far as like the weeklies go, I had room to be able to put like the master task list on like where it would show up, which you'll see. But anyway, the master task list up here, it does not stay. So I didn't want to do too much gray, so I kind of did half and half behind the heart picture and use like this light beige marker to where I did kind of some shading around the edge of the heart, and then I went ahead and cut out the Dutch door to where you would be able to see the roses behind it. And I did that because I wanted somewhat of a feminine touch, because this theme, with the exception of like the glitter gel pen, is very masculine and dark feeling, but I wanted to add in some more feminine and light moments to it with still kind of keeping that like dark theme, if that makes sense. So this is my content planner. I always do 2 sections for YouTube, 2 sections for Instagram, and 2 sections for TikTok for both of my handles and my channels. So I've got obviously K during the day. If you're watching this, you're watching K during the day. If you like horses and are things horse related, I have my main channel, which is the one that I started first. This is my most recent channel that I made, and that is K in the Bays. So after I went in and drew the background back here, I went in and filled in the title for the content and used that same black and red Sparkle Pop Pentel gel pen. These are my favorite gel pens, like my absolute favorite gel pens. I don't use them for like writing or like fine lining or anything like that because they are a pretty thick tip. I think they're like 1 millimeter maybe, but for like filling things in and doing like thicker stuff. And this is like the silver version of that pen. I'm obsessed. The gold one is beautiful, absolutely stunning. So just making the boxes for my subscriber count, which, surprise surprise, did not fill in, did not use. February was a really tough month, I'm not gonna lie. It was a very tough month. My mental health was not great. And a lot of times, like if you watch bullet journalers or watch somebody who does things like this, if they do struggle with mental health, that will reflect in what they track and what they don't track and them filling out their journals. I really try very hard to, but sometimes it's hard. Mental health is a very, very tough thing to deal with if you have, issues and things that you're struggling with. I think it's a underrated diagnosis. It's a silent and non-visible issue that turns into a physical one. So everyone going through their mental health stuff, if you struggle with depression, anxiety, ADHD, any of that, I understand and I feel you. I feel your pain. So after I finished my content page, then I went in and started these flowers. And these took so freaking long. Oh my gosh, so long. I used the Prismacolor colored pencils, and I have four different of the metal tins of them. I'd have to look and see which ones, but I use a bunch of different colors between the 4 of them, so it's not just one that I use. And I mean, you can achieve this with any colored pencil. I just got these for Christmas. My aunt bought them for me, so thanks, Aunt Pam, if you're watching this, even though I know you probably aren't. But I really wanted to try them, and this was the first time of me trying them. So I went in with a very light base of like a medium red color, and then I went in after that and kind of mixed some brown and then some black, and then started getting deeper with the pressure of the pencil, like the pressure that I was using with the pencil. So if you look up pictures of roses, a lot of the times there's like the shadows of them where like the petal will curl a little bit, and that is what I was trying to achieve with the black. And then obviously the shadows from like inside the flower, you know, light, dark shading, whatnot. So that's essentially what I was trying to achieve here. So I added a little bit of the darkness, and I kind of worked petal by petal until I would get, you know, ADHD bored and then have to go on to something else. And to achieve more of that smooth look, then I went in with that light pink color, and then I went in over all of it with the white and tried to create this smooth, almost velvety texture. And I think it turned out really well. So those are basically the colors that I used. I used a black, a dark brown, a red, a pink, and a white, and just kind of alternated in between there. I didn't really have a picture that I was looking at after the first couple petals. I pretty much just Googled roses and rose drawings and just got the inspiration from there and drew roses facing different directions, so that way it would have a little bit of variety. And that's what you're looking at. So after I did the roses, I then went in and started doing the leaves. So I think I tried to do 2 leaves coming out per rose, and kind of the same scenario. I used a couple different color greens, and in most pictures you can see how one side of the leaf is usually a little bit darker and then the other side is a little bit lighter. And that's kind of the goal that I was trying to achieve by doing this. So I used some brown and some white and different shades of that green color. And then once I was done with that, I went in with a Tombow and colored in the background of this black, so that way it would stand out just a little bit more. And I know this is going extremely fast, but drawing lines is boring. So then I did the outline and the border of the other part of the content planner, and then filled in the background of that with that same beige color from the cover page, and filled in all of that. Did the same style headers, and then I used a bright red Tombow and then a mild liner for the mid shade, and then the same font, same pen for the title for the Instagram and TikTok. And then once I was done with that, I think I used I did the silver, and then I used this fine liner, so it's a brush tip and a fine liner on one end. I think I got them off Amazon. And yeah, so then I just filled in all of those letters and then moved on to the last page. I think I jumped around. Actually, no, I know what happened. My camera stopped filming and I didn't realize that it stopped filming, so I didn't get me creating any of the Dutch doors. So I'm sorry for that, but essentially all I did was create the Dutch doors, put washi tape over the edges, and then filled in the background and did the same style numbers, same fine liner, same all of that, which obviously you'll see when it comes to the flip through in the beginning. So then I'm kind of jumping around because then I went back to do my habit and my mood tracker. This was another, I want to say, kind of invasive spread, like as far as the drawing goes, but I just wanted to get the weeklies done and then come back. So a lot of times with me, I jump around from page to page. I don't start from the beginning and then go to the end. Whatever is inspiring the most is what I do. So like my March one, I did all of my weeklies and basically all of the spreads except for the paintings for the cover page that I'm gonna do. Art is not subjective. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, when it comes to art. So, yeah. So I basically filled in the background of this with that beige color. I drew a key, just a very simple old style looking key. Use that silver sparkle pop, and then the same dual tip brush pen and use the fine liner end of it. I used a gray jelly roll to do like my key portion of it, and then I realized that I forgot to like put a box for the colors and just numbered them. So I went by at the end of it and just did a little dot of the color that I was going to use. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of frame here. I'm still very new at filming these overhead shots. So then when I put the hydrate, same pen. I mean, there's not really a whole lot of different pen choices here that I was using, or font style choices. I tried to keep it pretty cohesive, and I think that does do a whole lot for your spreads. If you use very similar headers, very similar colors, there's a lot that you can make different when it comes to your spreads, but having something that kind of stays cohesive to me and what I like to do in my journals makes it feel like it's mixes well, if that makes sense. So this side of the page, I just did like that little outline of the drawing of the girl and filled in the background with the gray. And then I used that red Tombow that I used to fill in that background behind the key. And then use that same gray jelly roll. And then I did a white Uniball Signo for the actual like label of the key, and then filled in the colors that I was going to use for my mood tracker. And same thing, same pen. I'm obsessed with these pens. I cannot get enough of them. They are just like, I don't even know where I saw them on TikTok, but I saw them on TikTok and I'm in love. Absolutely. I'm like ready to propose. I'm in love. So after I added that washi tape on the bottom down there, I went in and did the outline of this woman. Don't know who she is. I just drew her and did just like a plain side profile. Like, this is very easy to do. It is not hard at all to draw a side profile. It's very, very easy. At least, I mean, I think so. It's probably one of the easier drawings to do for a person. But I then went in and started adding strands of hair. Her hair was just up in a bun, and then I went in and used a skin tone kind of color tombow to basically draw the skin, and I'm just being pretty loose with it. In the areas where you would kind of see like shadows on a face, I did a little bit of that under the chin, under the cheekbones, on the side of the nose, over the eye. Anywhere like light really wouldn't touch, I did like a little bit of shadow work on there, but not a ton. And then I did a little bit of pink on the lips, and then I went in with this dark brown tombow marker and started adding in some of that brown, and then I went in with a lighter shade. I alternated a little bit between the brush tip and the fine point of it, and then I just added a bunch of different shades of brown. So then I went in and added a little bit more of that darker tombow color, and then went in with a pink colored pencil and then a brown colored pencil to add some more shading to basically show that there was a little bit of makeup there. So I slowed this part down so that way you could see in real time just how slow I draw. And I essentially just did like a bunch of squiggly lines, and then my camera died yet again. I need to get a dummy battery so that way my battery will last longer than an hour. But I then after that went to back to the cover page. So this portion of it is very daunting. However, the flowers took longer than this drawing did. Probably because you can be a little bit messy with like this cross-hatching, and it's just basically a bunch of lines, and you draw these little lines, and where you want it to be darker you add more lines, and where you want it to be lighter you add less lines. It's honestly very, very simple. If you have not tried something like this, you should, because yes, it takes a long time, and yes, if you do have like joint issues, like this will hurt your thumb. Like my thumb is hurting watching me do this because I remember how much pain my hand was in after doing this February spread. But it's super easy. Like, and I know a lot of people would probably be like, well, it's easy because you can draw. And it's like, well, yeah, I can draw, but at the same time, of the things I can draw, I feel like this was probably one of the easiest ones to do. Even though it looks like it would be the most intricate, it's very simple, like very, very simple to do. And yes, you do have to have some sort of artistic ability to draw things from being able to look at a picture, but just practicing makes perfect. But the reason why I say this is easier than anything else is because you can be messy with it. It's not perfect. Doing drawings like this are great for people who are perfectionists, because you can be messy with it. You can be kind of all over the place with these types of drawings, and not feel like you have to go back in and be like crazy about it, if that makes sense. So that is pretty much it from what I got for the footage. I'm hoping that I'll have a dummy battery soon, so I won't have to keep changing out my battery. So on to the flip through. All right, so future Kelsey here. So we are unfortunately on the 8th of February right now, and I was editing this and then realized that I didn't actually do like a full flip through of all my spreads. So some of this is already filled out, but I didn't think anybody that was watching would mind. So yeah, this is my flip through. So we did the beautiful heart with the Dutch door, and this idea I got from Elizabeth at the Plant-Based Bride. She did this on one of hers. If I can find the video, I'll link it down below. But yeah, she did that, and I just thought it was so cool, so I did it in mine. So then I've got my content planner, so where I plan out the videos that I want to film, and I've got a spot to where I can check off if it's been filmed, exported, edited, the thumbnail, the description, and posted. So, and then I've got, which I'm like super lacking on filling this one out and these down here. It's been a crazy first week of February. So this is where I can put if I posted on Instagram or TikTok on both of my channels. And then I just drew these with the Prismacolor colored pencils. And I'm so in love with this. So this is my habit tracker and my mood tracker. So I try to track about 12 habits, and you can see one of them I don't do at all, which is stretching. I think. Yes, stretching. So I've been trying to wake up at 5:30. I tend to, since I work from home, get up, go make coffee, and then go sit down. And then, as bad as it is, and I know I'm not the only one that is alone in this issue, but sometimes I forget to brush my teeth in the morning, like, because I'm drinking coffee and then I'll eat breakfast, and then, you know, so it's just like by the time I realize, you know, and I'm working from home, so it is what it is. And then same with my skincare. So I've been really trying to get out of bed, go right into the bathroom, brush my teeth, do my skincare, and that is like my morning, and make my bed, which you can see I didn't really start doing until the 6th, but I have made it the past 3 days in a row, and I'm very proud of myself. So I've been trying to work out, and working out for me can be either right now going to the barn, doing some sort of like 10-minute work, just something that is moving during the day other than getting up to go to the kitchen and come back. And I put one for the barn, so that way I can kind of track which days I went out, which days I didn't go out. And then obviously journaling, which you can see that I did. That's the only thing that I'm pretty consistent at, except for brushing my teeth in the morning now for this month. Skincare in the evening, sometimes I can just get home and just crawl in bed or clock out and go do whatever it is I need to do and get right in bed and fall asleep. I've been trying to spend like 5 or 10 minutes picking up the house every day, which has helped. I haven't done it every day, but it definitely has helped. And reading a book, and then trying to get in bed by 10 p.m. So that way I can get up at 5:30. And then obviously my hydration, whether I did multiple of my Yeti water bottles or not. And my mood tracker, I did this girl and kind of drew her brains, and I'm gonna color them in. I don't know, I had the idea, and I don't know if anybody's done it before. If they have, that's awesome. I didn't see it. I just was like, I want to draw somebody. I haven't drawn a person in so long, and I just did it with markers. I mean, it's not the best, but by the time I was done with the heart and those roses, which took forever, I just didn't have time to do the same thing for this, and I was just ready to be done. So yeah. And then this is my crazy weekly trackers. So I put a master task list over here and important dates on this side, and I did Dutch doors. So on a given day, I have a lot that I do. So between like taking care of the house, my full-time job, my 3 horses, my 2 channels for YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. There's a lot going on. So I've been trying to get more organized, and I've been better about getting a lot of my stuff done instead of just like shutting down mentally and being like, I have too much to do, so I'm not gonna do anything. Instead of just doing 1 or 2 things, I just shut down completely. So yeah, this obviously today's the 8th, but this is my weeklies. And then at the end of the month, kind of an end of the month recap, I put a place for struggles that I had, achievements I made, and then what can I change for next month. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this February plan with me, even though it's going up late again. I am going to try and start on my March one later this week or next week, so that way I can have it up before the end of the month. I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try. If you did enjoy this video and you want to see more, I would love to have you subscribe and hit that notification bell if you would like to be notified when I post new videos. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.